Hey, you guys. I hope that you all are having a great night. I wanted to make sure that I am actually going live today because I said I want to go live and I need to stay consistent and actually going live. So I'm definitely here. And today we're going to talk about insider secrets to boost your credit score. So a lot of this stuff, if you guys just understand these things, you guys will never have a problem in the future in terms of you building your credit. Now, I wanted to also tell you guys that I've been training a while. So I've been training so that I can run a full 5K 3 times a week. Like that's my goal. I want to do basically 3 miles 3 times a week, about 9 miles a week, basically. And I'm finally almost getting there. So I figured next week I'll be on top of that goal. But I have been running, and today I did have a race. So I definitely did want to show you all my medal for today. So I did have a run today, which was really, really nice. I was able to run 30 minutes straight, and I had, I'll say I still had like a half a mile to go. So I was very, very happy about that. So I'm like, okay, I'm tackling my goals for sure. But let's get into some of this stuff because it is a lot. So the first thing is I want you guys to make sure that you're paying your bills on time. A lot of people look at this as like something very small, but it's very, very important. So what I like to do is I like to put all of my bills, I have them all just organized on a spreadsheet where I can know exactly like what I'm paying and a due date of all of my bills. I have that for sure. All of my bills are automated, or if you guys are not really trying to, I want to say automated, but if you guys want to make sure you double check it, but put it on minimum payment for your credit cards for all of them, just minimum payment. I say this a lot, but I literally see people have late payments from not paying $5 or $10 on a credit card, and them late payments is going to kill you. So just put all of your bills on auto pay. If you want to never pay any interest on your credit cards, you want to make sure you paying the statement balance by the due date, and then you don't have to worry about paying any interest. Another thing that I may do too, say if I had something that I wanted to pay, a particular thing I wanted to pay, I'll put something in my calendar and say, hey, pay this, or hey, pay that. It's just another reminder, but just make sure if y'all think that y'all need to pay something, or if you know you need to pay something, just make sure you're writing it down. That's the key thing, because if you're not writing it down, there's no way a lot of times these things are going to be paid by the due date, and you don't want any late payments because it can really ruin your credit. Okay. So make sure that you guys are paying your bills on time and put them on auto pay, and reduce your credit card balances. So having a late payment on your credit report can drop your credit score so much. Late payments is like a no. That's the number one thing you never want to do with any of your credit cards or any of your accounts, is have late payments. But really having a high balance on your credit cards too compared to your limit is also very, very bad. People don't understand it's like 30% of your credit score. So I always tell people to have your utilization at 5% or below when you want to apply for something. And put emphasis on apply for something, because some people think, oh, I need to get a car, I'm going to go apply right now. And I wouldn't suggest that. I will make sure that my utilization is always down before I apply for anything, because if you can get it down as low as you can, 5% below is the sweetest spot, then you're going to see that's going to be your highest credit score that you can really have at that time. And I'm talking about not really removing accounts or anything like that, but utilization, that's something you could change. You don't have to ask for permission to change that at all. All you have to do is pay it. They're going to report it. Is, no questions asked, your credit score should be going up. Some people say don't have more than a 29% utilization, but that's just being basic. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like that's just getting by. Like we're not going to increase your credit score. We're not going to lower your credit score. When you start getting lower and lower, like I keep my utilization at 20%, you see your credit score is going to be much higher than when you had it at 29%. Same thing when you get down to 10% and even 5%. Now that 5 to 0%, I haven't seen any difference. So I can't really say anything, but I say 5% or below, you're fine. So oh, should I go to 2? Should I be at 3? What's the best? I don't know. I just know 5% for me is where I need to be. And then reducing the balances too can also help you not pay so much interest too. So definitely do that. And utilization, put that at the top of what you need to do. Now, sometimes you guys may have poor utilization and you can't pay down your credit card. So what I want you to do is increase your credit limits. If you guys are to the point where you can't really pay down the balances on some of your credit cards, and let me say this, I don't care what situation you were in. Honestly, let me not even break it up like that. Just once a month, ask for an increase, honestly. And I was going to say, oh, in this situation, that situation. But I would say ask for an increase every month. They're going to say yes or no. And if they're going to give you a hard inquiry for that increase, maybe you don't want to ask for it. Okay, maybe you don't want to ask for it, but ask for a credit increase, because if you increase the limits on your credit card, that's going to lower your utilization also, because your utilization is the balance divided by your actual limits. So if you increase your limits, it's kind of like you lowering your balance. One side of it is increasing, so your utilization should be a lot lower. Think of it like that. So if you were to ask for an increase, you ask a few credit cards for an increase, maybe you only get a little increases on each one of them, or maybe you have a few of them that increase you a certain amount, or whatever the case may be. It's going to help with your credit score overall, because it's going to help with your utilization. So definitely ask for increases. And a lot of companies, like when I had Capital One, when I asked for I seen somebody said they asked once per year, but when I asked for increases, I got 3 increases in a year. In a year. And some people only ask once a year, if they even do that. So I say ask, because all you're gonna do is say yes or no. And the thing is, I see credit card companies decrease your limit. I mean, they can lower your limit, right? I seen them do that, and they don't ask permission, like, should I do this? They just do it. So I like for you guys to ask. If you can at any time decrease for me, I need to be able to ask you for an increase. And I don't know, credit, we when we apply for credit, we use these credit cards, we can use any company. So you just got to make sure whatever company that you're using is doing what you need them to do. If not, then you need to get rid of them, seriously. And that's what I really have to say about a lot of the credit cards. If you find you got a credit card that never give you an increase, I would not be putting a lot of purchases on that credit card. I'll be putting purchases on a credit card that I know is going to increase me, because they see that I'm actually using a credit card. If you guys have a credit card, they're never going to increase you. You're never going to get any benefit from putting a lot of transactions on it. I would try to switch to a credit card that will give you the cash back that I want, and they give increases. Okay. So I really would suggest that for you all. Like once I find out, like example, once I found out that I just need to put a certain amount of transactions on Navy Federal, on my Apple credit card, and a few other credit cards, I put more transactions and I start using those credit cards more and the other ones less. And once I did that, I got the increases that I wanted. So that's what I tell people, just know your credit cards and if they get increases or not. Now, the next thing is I want you guys to diversify your credit mix. Some people just have credit cards. You need to have credit cards. You need to have a personal loan, which is an installment account. The credit cards is a revolving account. And I also saw that people that had a mortgage that they're not late on, when they had that on their credit reports, and it seemed like their credit score just be a little bit higher than others that don't have it. And I'm just saying that it's another type of loan, if you know what I mean. It's a installment loan, but it's when I when I look at people that don't get approved for a credit card, I gotta kind of explain this. If I look at people that can't get approved for a certain credit card, one of the reasons sometimes they would say is lack of some real estate, or some type of real estate on your credit report. They say that, or collateral, or some things like that. So they look at those different things. So if you got a mortgage on there, it can make your credit score a little bit higher, I see. Also, for those people that have car loans, that's an installment loan. And I always say have 4 credit cards. Some people think too, let me just have 1 credit card. No, you need 4 credit cards. And think of these credit cards as companies that's saying that you're doing good. They're promoting you're borrowing money, from them, and they also promote you paying it back. Like they're like, wait, listen, she borrowing money from me right now, so I suggest you do it. That's what your credit report is saying. Also, she's paying me back, so if she pay me back, maybe she'll pay you back. I think that you should borrow her the money. That's what I think about what these companies report to the credit bureaus. And if you guys only have one company that's promoting you, then that's going to be bad for you. And think about it for the people that had bad credit before, got bad credit right now. All those collections and charge offs on your credit report, they're talking crap about you. And if all you got is companies that's talking crap about you, basically reporting all these bad accounts in your credit reports, how is your credit score going to be high? You need to have companies that's fighting back in a way, saying, nope, she got a credit card right now and she's doing good. So I say have 4 credit cards, have if you can have a car loan. You can avoid just a car loan, just have an installment loan in general. And you can get this from Navy Federal, and this would be like the pledge loan if you want to do something that's more secure, where you're not just taking out debt just to have something reporting. Then that can be really nice that you guys can look into the pledge loan with Navy Federal. And I did it as a tester. I knew it was going to drop my credit score because I don't need another account, especially like an installment account. My credit report, it did drop it, but it reported. That's what I care about. So the people that need that type of account, when it reporting a credit report, you're going to see a great increase, especially if you're lacking from it. If you can, get some real estate. Okay, those would be some good accounts. And keep your old accounts open. A lot of times people want to close their old accounts, and I tell people try to keep these accounts open, because this is going to help maintain your account history. Every time these companies report into the credit bureaus and your account is active, it's helping you, especially if it's a credit card, because you have that credit limit there. When they think about your utilization, they add up all your credit card balances and also all of your credit limits. So if you were to take a credit card that maybe you're not using, but it's a zero, say if it's $0 balance on it, but it's a $6,000 credit card, even if you're not using that credit card, it's still going to help with the overall utilization of all of your credit cards. So having that credit card there that you're not using, it helps when you actually use some of the other credit cards, because they're going to look at your overall utilization too. So I say keep your accounts open. Also, a lot of people, when they really want to boost their credit score, what they want to get, they want to get trade lines. And when they get these trade lines, they want trade line with history. I tell you guys how you can add your kids on as authorized user on some of credit cards that you have for years, and now we can boost their credit scores. But again, you have to have that account open, and that's what people are going to want. So do not close your account. Make sure you guys are using your accounts at least every 6 months. I used to say every year, but I've been seeing accounts, I don't know. I've been seeing the accounts just be closed. They're like, I haven't used it. I don't know. I say just to avoid it, just to be safe, just use it every year. You can use it, especially if you was going to close it anyway. Just do this to let it stay open as long as it can stay open for, basically. So just buy something that's going to be less than your minimum payment. Don't forget, you should have this bill set up on auto pay anyway, right? It should be less than whatever your minimum payment with that credit card usually is. And then when it actually it's going to report, they're going to give you a bill, but the auto pay is going to take care of it. So the auto pay will automatically pay it, because again, it was less than whatever your minimum payment would have been anyway. So just do that, because if you don't use your credit cards, they can close them, and you don't want them to just close them due to inactivity. I have a few of those, and I just got credit cards that help with my utilization. And then I got credit cards where at what point I wanted to do like cosmetic surgery. So I got credit cards for that, but I never used it. So I had like $40,000 just in credit cards just sitting there. I never used, but it helped with my overall utilization. If I wouldn't have known, just buy something. Like, it's been 2 years. They've been closed you out. I think they closed me out after 2 years, but it's like, just buy something. It would have stayed open. It could have helped so much with my credit, and just sticking around, especially for those credit cards that don't have an annual fee. Now, if you have some of those credit cards too, that's like, those credit cards that have like maintenance fees, like $8 per month, $9 per a month maintenance fees, or maybe they annual fee is over $100, or even it's just a $79 annual fee, but you get no cash back from this credit card. It's one of them credit cards that honestly nobody should get. After you start building your credit, at some point you got to let those credit cards go. You got to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and close this account because it's costing me $150 a year. Y'all know which credit card I'm talking about. If y'all know y'all got someone's credit card that have very high annual fees, these credit cards are not helping you at all, then you really need to close out those cards at some point, but build your credit up first and then close them out. But other than that, try to keep your accounts open and keep them active, okay? And if you guys see any errors on your credit reports, start working to fix them. And I wouldn't even say just errors. Like, I mean, okay, you can see that the balance is not reporting correctly on all three credit bureaus. Maybe they have different balances, and it could be a reason why you could possibly delete the account. Maybe the pay me history is not correct. Maybe it has incomplete data. All these different terms. But if you see any account that's on your credit report, I'm telling you all now, if y'all really look, y'all definitely find something wrong with that account. And if it's a negative account, I know you guys. Some people have accounts where they just say, you know what, I'm gonna let this stay on my credit report for the next 4 years. I don't care. I had thoughts on accounts like that, but I still tell people that if you do have those accounts, I would still suggest that you send in letters to see if you can get it removed sooner, because you never know. Getting certain accounts removed from your credit reports could raise your credit score. And when you raise your credit score, if you have not the best interest rate on your card, you can refinance your card now. You can get approved for better credit cards. It's actually giving you cash back that don't have an annual fee. So I tell people, if you have negative accounts, you need to correct them, because if you keep having these negative accounts in your credit reports, it's just something that a lot of these credit card companies can reference. And y'all don't understand how much these credit card companies can actually hold a grudge, especially about accounts that could be paid. It's like, this account is paid. I have nothing else wrong. Why won't you give me this credit card? And they'll give you a whole bunch of reasons, but once that account is removed from your credit report, magically they want to approve you. So I always tell people, if you see negative accounts on there, definitely make sure you all work to remove it. And if you guys go to my website, rakita.com, if you go to my website, I have a free dispute letter that you guys can definitely use. So it's no reason why you still have that account on your credit report, or you're not working to try to remove it. Now, I have been having a lot of problems with the credit bureaus regarding this. Credit bureau saying, oh, I haven't received a letter, or you don't seem like you are who you say you are. Make sure you guys, when y'all send out y'all dispute letter, make sure you guys send your dispute letter certified, and make sure y'all a certified receipt. Make sure y'all send it certified. This is that, so the credit bureaus can't say they just didn't get it. You definitely got it. This is a certified receipt. So make sure you guys send it certified, and send it with some documents to show that that is actually you. And before you send out your dispute letters, make sure you remove any any additional addresses on your credit report. Make sure you only have that one address, and make sure you don't have any negative accounts tied to that address. If you guys do that, you're going to see that you're going to get way more accounts deleted. But definitely, if you see those errors, you have to correct them. You have to get those accounts removed. Now, I want you guys to manage your new credit applications. So I want you guys, like, when you apply for credit cards, try to see if you can apply for credit cards that can pre-qualify you without a hard inquiry. And I wanted to avoid going to my website, but I guess I do have my computer up here for a reason, huh? Let me actually show you all, because these are the credit cards I like, because they can pre-qualify you without a hard inquiry. So whenever I'm trying to get a credit card, I'm trying to see if a credit card can tell me yes or no without giving me a hard inquiry, because that hard inquiry can lower your credit score. So this is my website here. So that free dispute letter I was telling you guys about is right here. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see this list right here, pre-qualified with no hard inquiry. So click on that. And this list, you guys, are going to be credit cards that can pre-qualify you without a hard inquiry. Again, tell you yes or no. We got some secure credit cards on here, some unsecured, a lot of unsecured credit cards that can actually give you a very high limit. It's a lot of credit cards on here, but again, these are the accounts that can pre-qualify you without a hard inquiry. So Apple, if you have an iPhone, please get your Apple credit card. I definitely love my Apple credit card. No matter what, I know if I can get 2% back on my Apple credit card if I'm going to use Apple Pay. So I love that. I have a Walgreens credit card now, but before I had Walgreens, I was happy to have this credit card because I got 3% back at Walgreens when I was couponing. So yeah, Apple, they can pre-qualify you without a hard inquiry. Navy Federal, all of their Navy Federal accounts, they can pre-qualify you for without a hard inquiry. And again, that's yes or no without a hard inquiry. Now, let me say this, Discover can pre-qualify you too. All of these can, but if they say, hey, Rakita, it looks like we might can give you a credit card with Discover, and you say, hey, go ahead and give it to me, and you do the full application, you say, you know what, yeah, go ahead and give it to me. If they whether they approve you or not, at that point it is a hard inquiry. Okay, but usually they should tell you yes or no. Now if they're saying no, like if you do a pre-qualification and they're saying no, it's some stuff that's on your credit that you really need to fix. Honestly, they thought they liked you until they actually seen your full credit report. That's it. They got a glimpse of you and say, you know what, let me give you a chance, but then they looked and they was like no. So make sure you guys just again use those dispute letters and start removing negative accounts, but come here and see which credit cards you guys can get approved for. But with these new applications, try again. You don't want to try to get a lot of inquiries. Or if you guys are getting inquiries too, the trick literally is when you guys have inquiries in your credit report. I don't want to say it's a trick, but I have heard of people, I have heard of people that literally just call the credit bureaus and tell them to remove it in a free dispute letter right on my website. That one I do have an inquiry removal letter if you want to send that in too, and it's free. It's in the free disputes. But again, when you're doing disputes, it's gonna take 30 days for them to process it. They have 30 days to process it. Plus, you got to think about the time for them to even get it to process it. A lot of times you can just call them on the phone and say, hey, I'm not, I see this inquiry. I didn't want to say the script, but I'm gonna just say it. I've seen people say these things like, "Hey, I see this inquiry for Navy Federal on my credit report. I do not believe this should be on my credit report, and I need to get this removed because it's hindering my credit." I'm not telling y'all to agree to like what they say. Well, what do you think? I'm like, you tell me what you think it is. I don't know. I need to get it removed from my credit report, but whatever it take, a lot of times you are going to have a problem with this method. Just hang up and call back again. Seriously. And you got to think about it. When you want to get a lot of other things done and you're having problems and you got to call customer service, you got to just hang up a lot of times and just call back if you want to get it done. Or you can just accept the answer of, hey, we're not going to remove it. Or you can keep trying until somebody tell you yes, and you can possibly get that yes within a few calls. So just hang up and call back again, but just watch out for those inquiries. Now, another thing is shop around quickly, especially when you guys are trying to get a car. I suggest if you can go to a credit union like Navy Federal can tell you, they can pre-qualify you and let you know if they can pre-qualify you for an auto loan. So definitely get in with Navy Federal. But usually with a car, you want to just go ahead and get all those inquiries at one time, honestly. Or if you're going to get a car, I wouldn't say get the inquiries. That sounds so bad, but that's what's really finna happen. Like seriously, if you don't have your own finances, you go to these car lots, they're gonna run up your credit because they're gonna do anything they can to try to get you approved, and they don't care if they run you through 50 different companies. They don't care. But the thing is, if you know you finna get ran through 50 companies, make sure you increase your credit score as much as you can so they don't have to give you a lot of hard inquiries by asking a lot of banks to approve you. Or like when I bought my vehicle too, I went through CarMax. And if you go through CarMax, you don't have to worry about a lot of hard inquiries, and they pre-qualify me for a car. So the thing is, you guys can um, just shop quickly or go through a company that can give you that one inquiry if you can help it. And if you're going to get credit cards based off of age too, I'd rather get all my credit cards at one time. Like, say if I'm going to apply for credit cards, I might get one, two, maybe three credit cards at that one time. I won't just space. I'll get one credit card this month, and in a few months, I'm gonna go back and get another credit card. I don't space it out like that. I go ahead and get everything I'm going to get at that time because right now, my biggest thing is I want to get a credit card because something I want to get done so bad, and I don't want to really necessarily use any type of savings for this. Um, it's something I want to get done so bad, and I want a 0% APR credit card for it. So I know I'm gonna hold a balance on this credit card for however long I decide to hold this balance for, right? So I know that once I hold a balance on a credit card, my credit score is gonna be at its lowest. So I want to make sure that I got all the credit cards I wanted so that I can afford to have my credit card lower for a year until I pay this debt off, to 6 months until I pay this debt off, because you guys have to think about it. When you guys hold a balance on a credit card, your credit score is going to be lower. So I would rather just get everything now at my highest credit score than to wait and see a 30-point dip or a 20-point dip, whatever dip may be. I'd rather just get everything now because I know it's going to be a decrease as long as I put a balance on this credit card. And I'd be stupid to go in 6 months when I know my credit score is much lower to go ahead and get another credit card that I could have already just got 6 months ago. So that's just my thought on that. But make sure you do everything. Just plan everything out. That's all I can say when it comes down to getting new credit applications. And make sure you have 4 credit cards and one installment account reporting. And student loans are great for you guys. They're great to have. Usually, if you guys have 1, 2, 3 late payments, y'all just leave them accounts alone. I'm telling you, that age is everything. A lot of times, student loans can be the oldest account for some people. They allowed us to get student loans fresh out of high school, but they a lot of times wouldn't even let you even get a loan, a credit card, something you're gonna be responsible with all the time. But your student loans, as long as you was in school or maybe you did some type of payment plan, those should have been good. Maybe you got a late payment here or there because you just forgot about it, but you quickly got back on the rings. Like, keep them accounts on there. Now, if you are having a lot of problems with your student loans, maybe you do want to think about removing your student loans from your credit reports. But then they always have some type of rehabilitation where they don't necessarily have to remove your student loans, and they can also make sure any late payments or anything negative about the account is updated on the credit reports. I would rather you all do that. Okay, I would rather you guys do that. Now, some people want to remove student loans due to debt to income ratios. It's just too much debt that's on their credit reports. And if you want to remove those, then that's definitely your business in regards to the student loans. Now, let's move on to the next thing, which is pay off debt. Now, I want you guys to pay off your debt strategically. When I started I love credit cards. Let me say that. I love credit cards, but I had to be real with myself and learn about debt. Like, okay, everybody love to get these credit cards. Everybody love to do all this stuff, but who finna pay them? Because you can swipe all you want to on a credit card, but who's finna pay the bill? And even if you pay the bill, if you got to go back and spend that money again, you really don't have it like that. So I was like, okay, I want to be debt free. I want to have this. I want to have that. So I started learning about Dave Ramsey. Now, Dave Ramsey talk about the debt snowball, where basically you list all your debts, smallest to largest, and you just start knocking them out. Like, when you have extra money, don't just go and blow this extra money. You start knocking off your debts. That would be the biggest thing. Just start knocking off your debts, because if you start knocking off your debts and paying them off, then you're going to see that you're going to be debt free faster. And also, the debt snowball is, hey, I have an extra $100 to put towards my debts. So $70 is my first bill. Let me pay the $70, and then let me put the $30 on my next one that's in line. And then next month, what you'll do is you'll take what you was paying originally, so the $70 plus whatever extra you got, that much, keep paying the 70, and you roll that and you snowball it in terms of you using all that money to pay each debt. You're rolling that money. So if you were used to paying $500 in bills, but for some reason you cut this $500, you need to use that $500 to pay any debts that you have, and you put your debts from least to greatest. You do not just go ahead and spend extra money like, okay, good, I got that bill knocked off, now I got an extra $70 a month. No, you don't. You got to use that money to actually pay your next debt. And that's how you're going to get out of debt. And eventually you're going to be used to, just think about it. If you used to paying $500 per month for a bill, but now it's all paid, guess what? That's 500 extra dollars you have. So now you can invest. So now you can see that money grow that way. Like, and that's amazing, especially if you guys want any type of, any like tax benefits with your IRA. Just think about if you guys were to put the $500 a month to the side for that. And that's beneficial with your taxes. So think about doing the debt snowball. And also, people do the debt avalanche. That's when they actually put the highest interest rate first. Whichever one got the highest interest, they do that first, and then they pay that way. Where whichever one is the highest interest, I'm putting all my money on that until it's paid, and then I'm gonna take whatever money I was putting the minimum on that, and then I'm gonna pay that, put that with whatever I make, and then I'm gonna just pay off my other debts. And again, it's whichever one got the highest interest. But with this one, and I listened to Dave Ramsey about this. Let me say this. The reason why they did that snowball is because you're going to get wins faster in a way. So what if your highest debt with the avalanche, what if your highest interest rate, what if it is your car? What if it's your car and you thinking, okay, let me pay the car off first. It's gonna take a while for you to finally get that. Oh my gosh, I paid something off. That that gratification from that compared to you doing a debt snowball. By the time you pay your car off, you done paid off 15 smaller things and you on the road, you happy, but you finally got your first thing paid off with your car. And that's why he said to do the debt snowball. But some people say, you know what, I don't need gratification. Like I'm determined, I'm gonna get this done, and this is gonna be the most beneficial. I'm gonna pay this one because it's the highest interest rate. Some people just go ahead and tackle that. And I did the same thing too. So I was like, you know what? The highest thing really is the car. Let me get rid of the car and let me pay off the car. So I was like, let me just throw all the money at the car. And eventually it did get paid off, and it got paid off very, very fast. But at the same time, some people would have said, you know what? Let me just pay off just the smaller debts first to get that momentum, to get that happiness, I guess. But paying off that car was like really nice, but you do feel drained at the same time. Like, okay, now it's time to go to the next one. It's that kind of feeling. So maybe you guys do want to do like that snowball and see how that works. Okay, see how that works. Now the next thing is become an authorized user. I told you guys people you will literally pay to be on a credit card. So that's why I tell you guys to become an authorized user on a credit card, because if you become an authorized user, you can possibly see an increase in your credit score, because if you become an authorized user, now you have a lower utilization because you should be finding a credit card that actually have a nice limit, and then on top of that you're getting more points because your average age of accounts is now going to be changed. So all that history from other credit cards, as long as they've been doing good, is now added to your credit report. Okay, all of that is going to be added to your credit report. So maybe you want to become an authorized user, and make sure, like honestly, you guys, if you know you still have kids under 18, seriously, be nice to your kids and really make sure you maintain your credit and teach your kids as much as you can about finances, about debt. Teach them how to make money and how to make sure that they actually saving money and investing money. Seriously, and please try to have at least two credit cards minimum. Have at least two credit cards you can add your kids to as an authorized user to help them jumpstart their credit. Because if you teach them what you need to teach them early on, they'll be great at managing their credit. And if you add them as an authorized user, this is going to definitely help them in their future in terms of them being able to get great credit. When they start getting loans, they're going to get great interest rates compared to, I remember when I got my first car and I first financed it, my interest rate was like 24%, but I didn't know anything about credit. What if I actually learned about credit, and when I got my first car, what if I got a 7% interest rate? I would have paid off that debt faster. I would have stayed motivated. I would have built, my savings fast. I would have did so many more things faster if my parents would have added me as an authorized user on their credit cards, and they really taught me about credit and finances and that. So do that for your kids. Like try to teach them as much as you can. And if you can't teach them, literally give them some books and bribe them. Once you read this book and tell me something about this book, seriously, it's like that. Once you read this book, tell me something about the book, I'm gonna give you this. And you gotta think about it. We give our kids a lot of stuff anyway. Now make it a little bit harder, make them work for certain things. Like, yep, you want some new shoes, then you say you want to go and get these, you want to go to the mall, just these things. So please make sure you guys do that for your kids. But do not become an authorized user on someone else's credit card that's not paying their bill on time every month. And you think, oh, well, they got a high limit though. That's going to help my credit. Them late payments is going to be attached to your credit report too. And do not become an authorized user on someone else's credit card too that's holding a balance. Because I see this a lot. What's going to happen is every month, when they report to the credit bureau that credit card, that balance is now going to be added to your credit report. And a lot of times you might only have $300, $500, $1,000, $5,000 credit cards. But if you have somebody to add a $20,000 credit card to your credit report and they're holding a $15,000 balance on it, that is going to mess up your utilization so much. That may be like an 80 or 90% utilization. So you just want to be careful. But in their world, this may be like, girl, I just pay I'm just paying my statement balance. I spend that much, or I'm just doing this, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe, hey, I'm going through something. I have to just hold the balance. No matter, it's hurting your credit. So you just want to be careful with things like that, because whatever they have on their credit report in regards to this account is going to be added to yours. So it's going to look like it's you in a way. It's going to say authorized user, but again, it's going to mimic you. Same way you can get good, same way you can get bad. So just make sure you be careful about that. And the main thing is just holding a balance. Say, put me on a credit card that's old, that you ain't got no balance on. That's what I usually tell people to say. Put me on a credit card that's old, you ain't got no balance on, and that's gonna really help my credit. Because if and you ain't got no late payments, is discount is all good. You barely even use this credit card. Put me on that one, the one where you got a $30,000 limit, but maybe you want to keep $1,000 balance on it. Something like that can help you. $1,000 or less. That right there, that can actually help you build your credit. And if you guys know y'all credit is messed up, use some secure credit cards to build your credit. So I messed up my credit plenty of times. Like I said, this is how I learned this stuff, y'all. I messed it up plenty of times, and now I know it. I have not messed up my credit in a long time. So I'm very proud of myself about that. I have to give myself hugs because it's a long time coming, okay? It's a long time coming. But it was times when I messed up my credit where I'm like, you know what? I'm not finna get no secure credit cards. I'm not putting any money on no credit cards. These credit card companies just finna approve me. So I'm working so hard to fix my credit and build, start removing accounts from my credit report. And I'm like, okay, once I got these accounts off, then I'm going for these credit cards here. So I had that stage, and I found that I didn't get as much results that way than when I did it this new way. When I knew, and this is the biggest thing. When I knew that, okay, I think I'm gonna file for bankruptcy. I was like, okay, this gonna mess up my credit. So I started working ahead of time to make sure my credit was gonna be together. I was like, okay, let me start working now. I know I'm gonna have to remove these accounts from here. I'm gonna have to remove the bankruptcy. I knew I had to remove all these different things, but I got secure credit cards right away. Like I didn't play any games. Like some people, like if you file in Chapter 7, you can get approved for credit cards that is not secure right away. A lot of companies will give you these credit cards, but if you file Chapter 13, y'all know that they're going to try to drag you into this thing is actually done. So when I filed for Chapter 13, I just got credit cards right away, and I seen my credit score go up so much. And you got to think about it. The time when I wanted to build it kind of slower, I didn't even have a bankruptcy I was even dealing with. So I got the credit card, the secure credit cards right away, let it start building my credit right away. And then I start removing the negative accounts. So like, okay, my bankruptcy's coming off, my negative accounts coming off, my credit score is shot up so fast this way compared to going the other way where I'm like, nah, I gotta remove these accounts. I don't want to have any account on there first. I was like, I'm gonna get some secure credit cards. And that's what I did. And that started adding history to my credit reports, and it started having accounts. It was started making me have accounts that was actually vouching for me, telling me that I'm doing good, basically, or telling these other companies I'm doing good. So now all the other companies want to give me a credit card too. So that's why I tell people, try to get some credit cards right away if you can. And for those people that say, I don't want to get a secure credit card, I cannot afford it, Capital One literally have a $200 platinum secure credit card. And let me actually show you the credit card because it's actually right here. Somewhere on here. Here we go, right here. This is the Capital One Platinum Secure Credit Card. With this credit card, you guys, it is a $200 limit credit card. But depending on your credit, they may tell you to only put, instead of putting the full $200 down, usually on a secure credit card, whatever you put down is going to be your limit. And you have to put the whole thing down, whatever your limit is going to be. So in this case, since it's a $200 credit card, you would assume you have to put $200 down. But depending on your credit, they may tell you to put $49 down, or they may tell you to put $99 down, or they may even tell you to put the full $200 down. But this can be a great way where if your credit's not that bad, but they won't give you any other credit cards and you need to get to the door, you may be able to do the $49, which is really good. So if you can do the $49, get your $200 credit card, let it start reporting to the credit bureaus. This can actually help you all a lot. And for those other people that said they can't afford it, just look at what you're spending your other money on. Like, just look at your bank statement, look at your credit card statement, see what you're spending. Probably not credit card statements because you need secure credit cards, so you don't have credit cards. But look at your bank statement, see where you just spending money. Like, are you just going up to eat like crazy, and now that added up to the $200 credit cards you could have had? Like, think of these different things. But you definitely gonna need to get you some secure credit cards. If you can't get any credit cards, you need some secure credit cards. The option of saying, you know what, I can't get any credit cards. I'm just not going to get any. Forget it. I'm just going to build my credit some other way. That's going to be hard, y'all. As much as I love Dave Ramsey talk about how he don't want you to have any type of credit cards. I'd rather have it there, just sit and not use it, just to have it where I can have a certain built up credit score. But you're not going to really build your credit unless honestly you out here taking this debt. That's all it is. Like, it's a whole debt system. So if you're not going to be into debt, you need the credit cards alone. But you need to have companies saying that you borrow money from them, and you need to have revolving credit on there and some installment loans. And if you don't, if you want to do if you want to get a house and you want to do more of some manual underwriting where they're going to have to just look at certain things that you're paying basically because you have no credit score, then go that route. But if you really want to build credit, like if you on this side, you say I want to build credit, you have to. If you can't get any credit cards, you have to draw some money and get some secure credit cards. When you get unsecured credit cards, what these companies are saying, you know what? I trust you. And I trust you that if I give you $5,000 as a limit, I know you're going to pay me back my money, whatever it is in interest. You're going to pay your minimum payment at least. That's what these companies are saying. And minimum payment can be $25 for some of these credit cards. It can be very, very low. But when they don't want to give you a credit card, they're saying that they don't trust you. They don't think that you're gonna pay them back any type of money. They don't even want to give you a $200 credit card. They deny you. They saying that they don't trust you. So if you're untrusted by these credit card companies, you got to trust in yourself and put your money where your mouth is and get you a secure credit card. That's honestly what it is. And for those people that literally just filed bankruptcy, these credit cards, especially if it's Chapter 13, you got it hard out there. You guys need to put your money where your mouth is and get you some secure credit cards and start building your credit if you want to build credit. Some people say, you know what? After my bankruptcy, Chapter 7, I'm not thinking about building credit at all. I don't even care about this stuff. Don't care about it all you want to, but when you need to use your credit, that's what's going to be looked at. So try to fix it as much as you can in terms of deleting them accounts. And if you have to get some credit cards, I would suggest you get some secure ones that are going to graduate. I actually didn't say that, but Capital One, Navy Federal, and Discover, these can graduate. And so if you put $200 down or $1,000 down on this credit card, as long as you don't have any new negative accounts, you're increasing your credit score. These companies, in about 3 to about 10 months, because you got 3 different companies, they are going to, as long as you've been doing good, they should give you your money back and give you that same limit that you put up. They should give you that plus more. So usually I see people like with Navy Federal. Navy Federal says in as little as 3 months, they'll give you your money back, your deposit back. If they're looking at your credit reports and they see something that they like. Now, usually in about 6 months or after 6 statements, usually that's the time where people want to see that if they put a $200 um they put $200 down to secure credit card in about 6 months or 6 billing cycles, it could turn to $2,000 and they give your money back. But don't be naive to not start building. Like if you can't get a credit card, that don't mean you cannot fold your arms and say, "Well, I just won't have it." Like not having credit. If you know that your world is going to revolve around credit, and our world is revolving around credit like a mug. If you want to get a house, whether it's buying or rent, you need to have renting a lot of times, especially if it's a decent place. Not saying you can't get a decent place without your credit, but a lot of times these big companies, they want to look at your credit when you're going to get a phone, when you're going to move into a new place. They want to know if they're going to charge you a deposit or not. I remember with the energy company, when I first moved to Florida, they was like, "Oh, we gotta check your credit." I'm like, "Check my credit?" I don't remember that. I don't remember that. After you own your house for a while, you first get in there. When you've been in your house for a while, all that stuff set up. You forgot what you did to get energy. But I'm in a whole new stage. Like, yeah, I need to look at your credit, and it's based off of whether or not we gonna have to charge you. a deposit. So you're gonna need to have credit. So don't mess around and find out. Like, just do whatever you can do. Just have your credit just done and maintain, and just maintain if if you don't want to use that. Now, make sure you guys pay attention to that credit utilization on individual credit cards. I told you all that, adding new credit cards or being added as an authorized user on these credit cards can really help you all. This can help you increase your credit score. Also, make sure your overall utilization at 5% or below. But think about it like this. If you guys have a lot of different credit cards, all your utilizations, because this will happen to me a lot of times when I want to apply for credit cards, don't forget, I'm going to have some credit cards just automatically paid for. I'm not using it anyway, but I'm going to have some credit cards that I need to finally pay down. So I may have, say if I had 20 different credit cards, 17 of them already paid off. One may have a very high balance, and the two I'm just going to pay off just gradually or whatever. The one that have a very high balance, that one that right there alone, having a high balance on an individual credit card, I find too that they decrease your credit score based off of that too. Because I used to try to do that. So I'll try to hide it in a way, try to hide my utilization where I have a lot of credit cards. Like I told y'all, the cosmetic credit cards, you got $40,000 in different credit cards you're not even using. You can use a lot on some of your other credit cards, especially if it's only a $5,000 credit card. You can max that $5,000 credit card out and still have a very decent credit score because you got these other credit cards that you're not using. But I still see that they deduct points because of that one credit card. So let me say that one credit card that have a very high balance. So still try to have that utilization down. Now, I always tell y'all, if y'all want to apply for some credit cards, I want you to have your utilization down to 5% or below. This can be overall, or you can just make sure that you have it on each individual credit card. But if you focus on each individual 5%, because again, you can have a maxed out credit card but have an overall utilization at 9%, at 5%, because it depends on how much credit the balance is compared to the limits. If you got a lot of high limit credit cards that you're not using, but you got that one credit card with a high balance, you can hide that utilization. But if you make sure each credit card is paid down, you guys, I'm telling you, you're going to see that your credit score is going to be the best that way. Seriously. I need to remove the negative accounts and the credit record. So slow. So if you want to speed up, if you ever want to speed up getting negative accounts removed from your credit reports, this is the thing. Just make sure you got these things done ahead of time. Seriously. Make sure the address where you have these negative accounts at, make sure you don't have that as your primary address anymore. You have a new primary address, and you remove every other address from your credit report other than that new primary that don't have any negative accounts. First of all, do that. Because if you have negative accounts attached to these different addresses, you're going to find that it's going to be harder to remove the accounts. Okay. So let's do that. And I'm also seeing that when it comes to removing accounts, you got to make sure the credit bureaus doing what they need to do too. Because I see the credit bureaus, they're sending out different letters like, we see that you're working with a company. They're also sending out letters saying we applaud you, but it's coming from a third party. You got to do special authorization for that. Or sometimes they saying they're not getting it at all. And the thing is, the credit bureaus are saying they're not getting it at all. But how you not getting it at all if you send certified mail? Okay, so make sure that they are sending out your letter certified mail. So that they saying that they're not getting it at all, then you can do a CFPB complaint saying that they said that they didn't get it. They're not going to process my dispute. And I actually have a certified receipt. And I have a letter here saying I did actually do a dispute, and they actually got it. So those are two things that I would suggest for you. And if you wanted to remove negative accounts faster, you got to sue them. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all, if something not happen fast enough for y'all, the account is really like inaccurate, you might just need to think about suing these companies. That's what's gonna make it happen faster. Once you put that lawsuit in, a lot of times you can talk to you get some direct. You can talk to the attorney that's going to be for that company directly. And if they know that they messed up, a lot of times they'll just settle with you right then and there, and you can just get it over with. But that's what my suggestions would be for you all. But I'm happy I was able to go live and go over the insider secrets to boost your credit score. I'm looking at all the different titles I got to do for the remainder of the year. Next, we're going to talk about navigating credit inquiries and what you need to know. So we're going to talk about those inquiries, but we're going to talk about them in depth too. Because like I told y'all, like if you go to a car dealership and you don't have financing already, they going to run up your credit. Okay. But there's things that you can do to avoid this. And the biggest thing too is just having your credit together. You have your credit together, it's gonna help with so much. But these inquiries can hurt you too, because some companies out there, if they see you got too many inquiries, they're not going to give you a credit card, especially a lot of people that's trying to do certain type of business funding. You trying to personally guarantee some stuff, yeah, you want to probably want to work on those inquiries. So we're going to talk about that. I don't think we're probably going to talk about that on Monday, so I'll definitely see you all there. Thank you all that came onto the live. I hope that you guys have a great weekend, and well, yeah, we got one more day. We do definitely have a Sunday. But I hope you guys have a great weekend and have a great week next week.